What is up, winning team? Now, I have so much to say to you all in the next, I don't know how long, in terms of what's going on in the world. You may have noticed I've not been commenting really. I've barely mentioned a couple of things about this whole Diddy thing and a couple of things about this whole Mr. Beast thing, but the expose is becoming left, right, and center. And so what I want to talk to you guys today about, or rather introduce, so somewhat of a new era, is that I realized, meanwhile, all of this has been going down, right? I have been having the worst year of my life, starting from November last year, okay? I have been having the worst year of my life, and obviously I know why. Because meanwhile, that the Lord was always planning to have this season of judgment, which I told you guys this judgment was coming. I told you guys I've been praying for the Lord to bring all these people down. This is what I'd be praying about when I'd be talking about, and there I am praying at 2 and 4 in the morning, this, that, and the other, and I wasn't asleep because I was praying. These are the things I've been praying for. So I knew it was coming because God told me and showed me that some things were coming. But also I knew the winning season for those of us who were on the right side of the situation prior were also, our win was also going to come. So one thing was going to happen simultaneously, or two things were going to happen simultaneously. All of the chess pieces, or a lot of the chess pieces in the Kingdom of Darkness, are going to start to fall. Let me let you guys know right here and now. This is not even the beginning of what's going to happen, okay? And so I've been going through hell on the other side because obviously the enemy's trying to prevent me from reaching my winning season, which I feel like I've just about made it across through to where like we're going to definitely make it kind of thing. But anyways, that, but also my role in this whole situation, because I've been so angry, viscerally angry with the adult population all year, as you know, like going back into teaching, and this year starting another teaching job on top of my own teaching that I do through my own business, and working, with the company that works for the Department for Education that allocates children, going through the processes and seeing how it all works, and the funding and the lack of organization and the bureaucracy of it all. You guys know, this year has been the worst year of my life, okay? For the reason of, now I know the world and I know what I know. And now every day I'm waking up and it's like any type of gaslighting that could have happened in the past or did happen has been silenced now, because it's proven day after day, everything I've been saying is true. Even yesterday, somebody asked me about this whole Philly situation, because there's a situation with a guy called Philly. He's like one of the young UK, he's part of the young UK, scene, if you will. I mean, he's known to be really funny. He's not my personal cup of tea. And this is the funny thing. It's all these people that I've been saying all along, that person's just not really my personal cup of tea, that are getting exposed, right? It was the same with TD Jakes. It was like nothing wrong with the guy that I can see. Something just not my personal cup of tea. I could just feel something is off. And so what I've realized is that my role in this whole situation is that I actually have to come down from my disappointment with the adult population and kind of help people who really just didn't get it. Because apparently a lot of people didn't get it. And obviously you guys have heard me calling people dum-dums and dummies and all this, yeah. And I know it's a bit crazy, but listen, I'm an older sibling. It's what we do. We've got thick skin. So someone calling me a dum-dum for not knowing something out on a video, if they're right, I'm going to be like, dang, I'm a dum-dum then. Sure know that the Lord sometimes calls me a bit of a dum-dum. But anyway, you guys get the gist of what I'm trying to say here. So on a serious, very serious note, I think we need to be very aware that we have been doing so many things so completely wrong for so long that maybe it's time, seriously, and I genuinely mean this with the purest of intentions, okay? Because I've been fighting off the devil who's been trying to just, it's been hard. It's been really hard this year. Listen, I only just started to see the light again at the end of the tunnel 2 days ago. And I was like, okay, you know what, God, maybe I can actually do this. And maybe I actually, it all makes sense now. You know what I mean? Because this is what I'm saying. It's a battle. When I'm saying things and I'm making videos and I'm saying things to you guys about, talking about the spiritual world, for one, this is how I know. Because I have a close and personal relationship with God. when I'm going through something, I know that it all works in like, everybody's in unison in their own kingdom with each other. So if God is working hard to like push forth, first of all, the winners forward and to bring down the wicked, right? What's going to happen is all of the winners are going to feel the attack of the wicked on them as a whole. That's why all around the world, a lot of Christian folks I've seen have been going through the same exact things that I've been going through, like in their own different contexts. But the point being, something really violently pushing against whatever God is also telling you at the very same time, this is what you're about to do. And you're like, how the heck is that supposed to happen? Because, do you know what I'm saying? Because everything seems crazy. Everything is whatever. In the same way that the people that before, the wicked, right? You can feel it on a spiritual level. The fact that I'm getting such a strong spiritual attacks shows me that God is clearly loading up for something big, number one. And number two, that the enemy is seriously trying to stop whatever the Lord is trying to do, right? Including these exposés and these this and these that. But the thing is, at the end of the day, he's God. He created the game. If life's a game, that's what I'm saying. If life's a game, let's play to win. So who else's side of the game are you going to play on than the person who created the game in the first place? This is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So that's the story with that. So now we're in a position where we've got this whole, the wicked people are now falling. And the funny thing about it is, right? And I noticed that this year, which I hadn't really understood this until this year after a few different experiences I've had with very wicked people and or hearing about very wicked people, is I realized, and I didn't realize this because I used to pray to the Lord. Over all these years I've been making these videos on YouTube, I've been saying like to the Lord, like, God, why do these people, like especially the ones that know you exist, right? That's why I think people who do craziness in the church I'm like, wow, you're on another level because you really been out here knowing the Lord and you're still doing what you're doing. Sorry, I'm looking for, hold on a minute. Sorry, my hands are feeling so dry. So yeah, so I'm like, how do these people think they're going to get away with any of this? Like that was what was confusing me. I'm like, how do people think they're going to get away? Well, I learned now and I remembered, the Bible says pride comes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Let's actually get a definition for that word because I don't even know what that truly means. But you guys get the gist of what I'm saying here, right? That people actually thought they were going to get away with it. Like people really do. That's how sick and scary the devil is. He actually himself, well, he knows he's not going to get away with it. This is what I'm trying to tell everybody. Like the devil's plan is, it's not like great that we've like now discovered all of this, like in the sense of, we've stopped the devil. No, we haven't. Because what's going to happen if we're not aware and if we're not learning from these situations? Because a lot of the times these things happen, it's because God is allowing us to learn from the situation so that we can prevent it from happening next time. We can see the signs from next time, if that makes sense. Because ultimately, the devil's plan is, as a whole, I just want to destroy all of humanity. And I know I can't destroy all of them, but I'm going to take as many of them down with me as I can, right? And that's the point. So he's not like they're like, oh no, P. Diddy got caught. Yeah, shucks. No, he's not. He's on to the next person that he's going to marinate us and influence us and brainwash us is a good person. He's going to use the art of gaslighting and everything that I've experienced, my own self personally, the entirety of my existence, so that the people, the perpetrators are protected, believed, loved, adored, worshipped, the victims silenced, gaslit, just having to basically keep going through the whole situation. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of why, on a personal note, it was hard for me this year. It's been really hard because I'm like, it's so upsetting. I don't know for anybody else out there who's suffered any certain types of abuse out there. It is so upsetting to watch how much people are ready to talk just because, now there's like this evidence of this and whatever. Like, I even said this to somebody the other day. It was like, what was it? It was actually ChatGPT. Ironically, I was asking questions to ChatGPT, not even about this. Actually, we're talking about vitamins, the daily amount of vitamins and minerals that we're supposed to have. And I was asking ChatGPT what he thinks about the scientists and like how are we sure that the scientists haven't missed any of this? I was just messing around. I liked to ask questions to ChatGPT because first, ChatGPT answers quick, and second of all, it's just interesting. It's like talking directly to science. I love it. Anyway, so it's ChatGPT, right? And one of the things that ChatGPT used as a proof of like the fact that that the information is reliable that we get from the World Health Organization, yada yada yada, right? Again, all these companies that everybody trusts in, that nobody's questioning, right? Just as what I'm saying is crazy. People will be upset about this girl who made the pink sauce on TikTok, right? Saying that she's not FDA approved. But who is the people of the FDA approval, and who even says that they should be the ones approving our food, and who even says they're to be trusted? Who even says that we know that there's not conflicts of interest? Because there is, by the way, there is conflict of interest with the Food and Drug Association. Food and Drug Association, is that what it stands for? Yeah, because anyway, won't get into that. Listen, this is what I'm saying. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, literally. But yes, I said to ChatGPT, if you're saying that these are peer-reviewed research, then surely if we're saying peer-reviewed research is a way to confirm that somebody's research is accurate, is that not equivalent to somebody's personal testimony? Because this is my question. And this is why I see so many holes in the logics of this world that we live in, because it's like we do one thing on one hand, but then on the other hand, we don't do it. Like on the one hand, we're saying we trust in research, right? Research itself is someone with a particular question doing the research, like going and maybe say asking 10,000 people. Who knows if you'd asked a different 10,000 people over there? Who knows if you'd asked 100,000 instead? But we'll trust that person automatically just because, or that scientific research, because it's got the name scientific research, right? Or because the person's called Dr. So-and-so, or because we've got such whatever proof. But you won't trust and believe a child who has absolutely no reason to be making up stories for the most part. I tell you, these kids, they do not, because they don't even have it in their mind. Like, and this is where we've failed the kids as a society, can I just say? Where they've been so, they've had so much exposure online, now we're at a place where their childhood hasn't been protected, so their innocence hasn't been protected, so they're aware of the types of things that can happen now out there. So it's actually harder now for us to know where they're getting what from, because are they being influenced by something they heard on TikTok, or are they being influenced by the fact that they felt really uncomfortable in a situation? You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying about how it's not going to be good enough for us to just like wake up today and be like, oh, yay, you know what? Yay, we got some. No. Listen, I'm very much matter of fact, brutally honest kind of person. All this means is we all need to sit down and everybody needs to step into class, okay? And I'm gonna help see us through. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm gonna be doing on the channel. I'm going to help us. I'm going to dedicate the entirety of the rest of my life. Well, I don't want to say career-wise because it's not really a career. It's just what I do. To equipping us all to not allow these things to keep happening so much, right? Because I understand that people don't have certain advantages that maybe I do. So, for example, being a scientist, like for me, different people deal with childhood trauma differently. My way of dealing with my childhood trauma, I've so realized now this year after having the worst year of my life, just because I simply decided to engage with my feelings again, is that I can completely shut off my emotions and just think purely logically, right? And I can make purely logical decisions and I can live well in just that. And I can, so for me, the science, I'm like, if I have to make a decision about anything, listen, I'm going with the most I'm going head over heart every single time. Head over heart. Every single time I'm going head over heart, right? Which we're trying to change now with the Lord, because he's all like trying to get me to, you know. So from being that's my own disposition anyway. A lot of the things, they just don't add up, because I'm like I said, I didn't realize how much of my personality in school just was so revealing of how different I am to others. Because like other people be like, oh, the textbook says this, the textbook says that. If you want to impress the examiner, they'd always say to us. And I was literally thinking at school, I don't care what that examiner thinks. I don't know who this person is. I don't know what their credentials are. I don't care. Same with the textbook. Because I look at the textbook and I see there's like 4 names at the back. So I'm like, great. So this bunch of people randomly just decided, not randomly obviously, but who said they were the people that should even be telling us in the first place? You know what I'm saying? So this is why I'm so passionate about education, because I feel like education should be parent-led, as in parents, with their own wisdom that the Lord gives them, find what is needed for the child that they actually have, the children that they have. And then that's where the education system is supposed to come in to like help facilitate those things happening. So that's what I do with my own lessons with my own kids. I'm like, look, here's all the options. Tell the parents all the options. Here's what you can do. Here's on offer. What do we want to do? We keep in contact. It works well. It makes sense. I don't feel like I'm telling this kid something stupid like read a textbook by God knows who and who else, and why not somebody else, and why not that person? Because I'm just like, well, why not that person's textbook? And why not that person's textbook? Because I would also have all these exam boards that I have to deal with, right? I'm like, well, why am I doing edXL? What if I want to do AQA? And most of the adult population doesn't even know what those two things are. That's the funny thing. That's actually the funny thing. I don't think anyways. But anyways, you guys catch the drift of what I'm saying here. Like, what am I saying here? What am I saying, really? Oh, yeah, my personality. So there's little things about myself that I've come to realize, like, oh, so this is why I'm actually so good at what I do. Like, this is why I can spot things. Also, because I've been a victim of being gaslit. I've been a victim of all sorts of predators who in different industries, male and female, have swayed the jury of the sheeple against me. On a big scale and on a small scale. On a big scale and on a small scale. So I know the signs, and it's always because, and I always find it happens, it's like, you know how people say real recognizes real? I actually think fake recognizes real before real even realizes real, and fake even recognizes fake. Because I've noticed that a lot of times people will kind of like jump in ahead to try and tell their story and like sway the narrative. And I've never understood why people used to do that, because I'd be like, I don't even care. Like, I'm not even here for the attention, respectfully. I'm just here for whatever thing I'm here for. Like, I'm not here trying to cause drama. I'm a very drama-free type of person, right? I can't be bothered. I just can't be bothered, to be honest. I just don't even have the energy. Of all the things in my life I could be doing, and I'm going to be spending it here doing up drama. Come on now, guys. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I've noticed that always jump in to like create their narrative first. And then I realized it's because that's what they're doing. They have to get their story out first. So then their side of the event, or what we think of them, is taken first. And that's kind of what I feel like has happened as a whole huge amount with all of just Hollywood and all just these different industries, because it's more than Hollywood at this point. It's just, I don't know what we call it. I don't know what we're gonna need a new name, guys, because Hollywood isn't enough anymore. And I knew it wasn't all along, but I was just like warming you guys up, okay? Because I have to start with people, you know, like I do with kids. Like, you start with people, them where they're at, and you know they can't handle the top part yet, but you just bring them through. You know what I'm saying? That's why now I can bring you through, because I have hundreds of videos, nearly 1,600 videos where I have been telling you guys about all this stuff for years. So I have more than done my due diligence. Okay, everybody? Yeah. So so that's what's happened in a large scale, is you've got all these people that the enemy has put forth, that because their narrative came out first, people liked Mr. Beast, people liked P. Diddy, people liked whoever, right? When they first met them, whatever they were doing, they've already caught like some kind of narrative according to everybody else. So then when anything else happens, if somebody now goes against Mr. Beast, like I remember this, like I was saying to you guys before, anybody who would speak up against Mr. Beast, because I had off feelings about Jimmy for a while, any man who starts out with a channel and he's dedicated to God, right? He was completely dedicated to God, and he was Christian and whatever. He flips the script, starts making his channel about money, gets super rich, and it was always the way he would go about doing his videos where I felt like there was something just a bit sadistic about it. As in, like, you liked it, because I'm a scientist. I like to experiment. I like to experiment with people. I like to experiment with myself. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but the thing is, so that's why I can spot these types of characters, like the Mr. Beasts, the L. Ron Hubbards, our father of Scientology, because I can see how their thinking works. They're like, we know these people, we know how to control them psychologically. So what we'll do is we'll take advantage. That's why Jimmy, to the point, was doing at every single stage of his video within minutes, right? They would plan the videos in minutes. He would have a plan of how he's going to keep the audience's attention. By the end of minute 1, we always have to do this in the video. Then between minutes 1 to 3, we do this. And it would all be these little tactics to try and reel you in, like show some kind of moment that looks like it could go viral. Bring up the amount of money of what can be done and what's coming in, and start giving out free cash and blah, 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 blah. Spend 3 minutes doing this. No video is ever longer than 10 minutes, whatever. Like all of these really specific things, all designed to control your mind. Same with L. Ron Hubbard, right? L. Ron Hubbard did the exact same thing. You guys who've been here for a while, you know we've been doing Scientology and everything. He did the exact same thing. He wrote a book, the one that we've been reading. I didn't ever finish it. We're just about to get to the bits. We just finished. We got through all the bits that I didn't know about, or we didn't know about, because we'd already covered some of the latest stuff that was coming, right? Because he's building up a theory. He's like, how do I convince you that people wonder why Scientology has gotten to where it is? It's like, because these people are like, they're the, let's not forget that the devil is the creator of seduction itself. These people know how to seduce you so that you're being, as they would say in the Sidemen videos, marinated, right? So he goes through the book. He starts off by stating that this is a science. He's telling you all this stuff. It's the brainwashing. Just like I say to you at school, they tell you at school, these are myths and fables. How about instead, we should be teaching people, this is what I teach, right? Listen, my lessons are very, 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 very different to the ones in school. I teach the kids how to think critically for themselves. So I'm like, so how are we going to figure that out? Or how do we know that that's that? Well, then we're going to need to do some research. Okay, let's do, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, critical thinking. So, and also it keeps them engaged and interested, because now they want to know as well, and they want to find out. And now they also have responsibility. I'm going to stop talking about my tips for teaching, because at this point I need to start charging. So, you know, they're controlling your mind so that, by the time you get through this Dianetics book from L. Ron Hubbard, again, he's proven scientifically, whilst also sprinkling in the fact that he has looked at some of the more spiritual, so-called airy-fairy ideas, that this is exactly how your brain works, like a computer. And as a computer would work perfectly under these circumstances, essentially there's this thing called your reactive mind that is like a virus in your computer. That reactive mind virus is built up of all of your experiences that have happened, in all the traumas in your life. We're going to help you remove those traumas, because those traumas, we don't think about this as any type of something overly spiritual. We're just looking at it from the sense that the things are affecting the system, the computing system. So that's really comfortable for people who ain't trying to get all up in the airy fairy malarkey, right? But then on the other side, you've got the other extremes, the astrologicals, right? I'm sick of the astrology. I'm so sorry. Some of my lovely new friends that I've made recently are properly into astrology. And you guys, I love you so much, but I can't with the astrology, because what is it doing? Again, telling us about ourselves, how we're supposed to fix our lives, how we're supposed to do this. It's selling us, it's seducing us, right? Influencing what we think. That's exactly what the enemy does. That's what these people are doing. That's what Mr. Beast does. Oh, if I give out money, he literally said, no one's going to be mad at the guy giving out money. Exactly. Especially in a world that's so enslaved to money, which is why I was talking to you guys about why we shouldn't be enslaved to the things of this world. This is why the Bible says you shall have no other gods before me, because if you do, that God is going to twist your mind, and then you're going to get caught up. And I feel like this happens in the church a lot, when, like I said, the likes of the Justin Biebers, we failed him. The other day, I got into an argument with one of these social media, like, pastor guys, because he was like, guys, I believe that God wants to use Bieber. And I was like, we should have done the work. We should have done it before. And when we saw the signs, he should have never ended up with that woman who, by the way, her and her family, their connection to Scientology and just the conservatorships and things, because I believe they're trying to butter up Justin to end up in a conservatorship, if you ask me, like is what I believe they're doing with Kanye. Again, two people the church failed. When we were supposed to be standing in the gap, when we were supposed to have our eyes switched on our brains switched on, and we were supposed to be seeing and having discernment. Because this is what I'm saying. It's concerning to me that the body of Christ that claims that we hear from the Lord and we have spiritual gifts. Hence why all these years I see now, because I've actually been a real believer of God, this is why my intuition bells be ringing off with people, because it's the Holy Spirit. That's what's supposed to happen. That's how we're supposed to know as the body of Christ, you know? So I'm like, how are we now talking after Justin's already gone through all he's gone through, right? From Diddy, Usher, the industry, yada, 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 yada. I get it, okay? Maybe 10 years ago, 10 years ago or so, you might not have noticed anything. But by the last like 5 years or so, it's been so overwhelmingly obvious there's something off going on with Justin Bieber. He goes to church. Turns out Justin Bieber's pastor, Carl Lentz from Hillsong, right? Turns out he now ends up in a whole scandal himself. So Justin, who was, as you know, as anybody is in this life, in need of a support system, people who are strong with wives who to protect him, etc., was failed on all fronts, even the church itself. And then now we want to be talking about after the fact. That's what I'm saying. The devil loves this. He loves it. He loves that we're all making it to adulthood, and we've been through so much childhood trauma that all that we have time to do is focus on licking our wounds, coping mechanisms, and therapy. And compromising on relationships and compromising on everything. He loves it. That's why I'm so passionate about the kids, you guys. I'm not some like really lovely angel from somewhere. No. I'm really not. Like, I am a woman who is a problem solver, who is filled with the Holy Spirit, who has compassion like the Lord, who doesn't take it seriously, who takes it very seriously, when this many people can get away with something and us, the adult population, are scrambling, wondering how it happened. And then the adult population has an audacity, the millennials, the boomers, whatever, to even look down on the younger generations. That's audacious. That's hella audacious of you to think you can comment on a generation that you're barely even putting in the legwork for anymore. So I've decided I will support the folks out there in the world who want to do better and who are ready to learn. And I'm going to be teaching y'all. Y'all are about to get to know me as a teacher around here, okay? Maybe you already thought that. The other day I thought, wait a minute. Isn't my video just the most teachery thing ever as well? Because I'm always like explaining things. But anyway, we're gonna figure this out, guys, because it's just not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And this is what the devil wants. Create this facade. We love this person. Oh my gosh, we're so giving. Someone's so loving. Even Philly, the one that came out now from the UK. He's another one I was never a big fan of. And all these people, whenever I've said anything, it's like, oh, you're just a hater. I'm like, I'm not hating. I'm saying they're not my cup of tea and something feels off to me. That's what I'm saying. Can I be so for real? Because you see, the thing about it is, I'm not a slave to mammon. That's the thing about it. I'm not a slave to the things of this world. I really am not. That's what these last 2 years has taught me. You can't impress me with money. You can't impress me with power. You can't impress me with fame. You can't impress me with nothing on this earth. If it did not come from the hand of the Lord, I don't want it. As in, when I say the hand of the Lord, of course it could be money, power, fame. Of course it is people and whatever else. But he came before. That's why it's so funny when sometimes when I have conversations with men and they think that they're going to convince me somehow, like with something. It's really fun. It's a lot of fun for me, especially as a scientist. Because like, how far are you willing to go anyway with this? Like, you know what I mean? The kind of things I get promised. Opportunities, the things that guys say, yeah, I work in, oh my gosh, recently, tell me why. I'm not even going to get into what, I'm not going to get into it, but it's insane, the things that are offered, like, just to like, and I'm like, listen, what you don't see here is there's an invisible ring situation, and that ring is Christ, okay? And what you don't see is you're standing in front of me and he's standing in front of me, standing in front of you, and he ain't moved. So if he has not taken a step to the left or the right, I ain't doing nothing. No matter what you say means nothing. The only thing I'm looking to see in any man ever is to watch Jesus take a step to the side there and be like, you know what? Bring him in. And then I'd be like, oh, this is different. Otherwise, I don't care. That's what I'm saying. It's about being a slave. Because do you know why these things are important? All the devil has to do, this is why I've learned that I'm actually an actual weapon in the kingdom of heaven, for real, is the devil, all he has to do is he has to find, you know the phrase, name your price, right? Name your price. So it's like, name your price for me to do X, Y, and Z, right? All he has to do is do that. Whether the price is your job, your this, your that, whatever. That's why he'll take everything away. That's why a lot of the times the Lord will allow, like the Job story, and I love how Christians love to talk about Job, as if they are willing to even give up the other gods that they have before God. They're the same ones crying because Justin Bieber's in church. Like, dude. Like, as in crying of excitement, like, oh, there's a famous person. Like, I'm not impressed by fame either. Listen, I've met famous people. It's fine. I've met rich people. I know rich people. I know famous people. I know people in power. I know people. Listen, I know people. So I'm not impressed. Like, who I don't care. Because, like, that's what I'm saying. That happens all the time when guys are like, yeah, so... I own properties in this country and that country and this country and that country, and I do this, and I'm working for the government and I actually have a place in this, and I'm just like, okay, congratulations. Like, I'm so happy for you. Like, well done. You've actually done really well, and it's really impressive. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same thing. It's like with the entertainment industry. It's like, what else are you going to offer me, devil? You're going to offer me, okay, so I already reached my dreams by 22. I wanted to become a dance teacher, I wanted to be a choreographer in the industry, and I did it. And then it was like, London Fashion Week. And I was like, you know what? That would be amazing to walk around. Imagine me walking around at London Fashion Week as a choreographer. And you know, I would have done the obnoxious thing, wear some like really nice high-heeled stilettos, right? And then on the back, I would have had my logo on my shirt. Then I would have had on the back, in big words, choreographer, right? So that everybody knows. And just be cute in some like little jeans, maybe a little hat, just do a little low-key choreographer kind of look. You know what I'm saying? Keep it cute, keep it classy, keep it sexy, a little bit mysterious. You know what I mean? Maybe even wear some big shades and just be walking around like, because the thing is, I love to play characters for the jobs that I do. With my way of getting into doing jobs well is I don't try to do the job like exactly just as thinking of it as the job. I try to envision the character. Basically, yeah, it's insane. It's insane the way that I actually go about doing things. This is crazy. But you know what I'm saying? I was like, what? London Fashion Week. Well done, devil. Oh, wow. So impressed. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to do it. It's not giving if I'm going to have to sell my soul. It's not giving. And I have had opportunities since then as well come up like, oh, I want to do this. This one artist was like, would you want to be in my music video? I was just like, oh, for goodness sake. Goodness sake. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here, you know what I'm doing instead? Being highly overworked and highly underpaid, dealing with the adult population of today, whilst I try to do as much as I can with the very small amount of time that I have with their beautifully precious children who are struggling because of the adult population failing them in a lot of areas. I am not directing this at parents specifically. That's why I said adult population. It takes a village to raise a child, right? So me helping these parents with the teaching I'm doing, well, extending the village. I do my part, you do your part, everybody's doing their part. Then you extend the village even more. It's a whole village we're supposed to be creating, but we've lost that. Because you know why? And this is the thing that the kicker that upsets me the most. And you guys will know because I talked about Adam and Eve for 2 years straight. We're never going to get away from it. Because this is the real reason why we're here. Because the enemy managed to convince us as men and women to be at odds with each other. So now that's the other thing that I'm really, finding is affecting a lot of this is the protective shield element of what was supposed to protect the kids, which is loving mother, unconditional intuition, nurturing, right? Loving father, somewhat conditional. I'm joking. I'm joking. By the way, guys, I'm joking. What was I going to say? Yeah, protection, provision, and that's on all fronts. because provision, I think what men don't realize about looking after kids, I say this as a teacher, is they need your emotional provision as well. Hello, sir. They need your emotional provision, sir. This is why you see the girl dads out there. They're the ones doing God's work. They're the ones doing God's work. When I hear a man has like 5 daughters and they all love him and they're always stressed. They're the ones where they permanently have that patch of sweat across the top of their forehead. And that's why they have to wear those like dad shorts, because they're like, they got to be on the go. That's why they be wearing New Balance and stuff, because they got to be on the go. Like they got some Asics on, because they're like, listen, I got a lot to do here. I got a lot to handle. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, without that bubble, and then that bubble being of 2 people who are actually in love, this is the key thing here as well. You see, adult population, we have serious problems that we need to work on. Okay. Oh, maybe that should be my first thing I should do. How to know if you're ready to have children. Oh, that's a good idea. Anyway, you catch my drift here, everybody. Oh, we catching my drift. We catching my drift. We have an issue, because these are the actual things. It seems like when we look at all of this, when we talk about it all, we're talking about all the stuff happening, all the exposés, we're always looking at, this is how I know I'm a problem solver. We're always looking at the problem. We're not thinking about the root of the problem. X. What is X? Where did we go wrong? And how did that unravel everything else? And this is what I'm saying. We went wrong with Adam and Eve. Separation between man and woman. Then we had separation between brother and brother. As we go through, we're just dividing. And so we now find ourselves in 2024, when most of the adult population is spending a lot more time trying to defend and explain themselves and get their viewpoint heard and get their rights and get their whatever, like men are against women and women are against men and gays are against strays. You know what I mean? That we've lost the art of working as a whole overall village unit that supports everybody at whatever stage that they're at. We don't have that in society anymore. And that's why these things happen. Because in a household where you got a mother who's a loving mother, the way the mother's supposed to love, not none of this Kris Jenner nonsense. So again, like how was she getting away with this according to society? But because society is broken itself. Society wouldn't recognize a good loving mother, because society is lacking in them these days. A lot of them are very selfish. Listen, the amount of women I'm seeing, doing all of this, I'm going to get a divorce, and because, they're going to find myself. I'm like, bro, could we have found ourselves prior to children? Like, that's why I've been spending all this time alone. People don't understand. Listen, I'm not going to be figuring it out. Like, praise the Lord for his grace, I have to say, because it is actually because of his grace and not all because of me. But like, we got to learn at a certain point, like finding yourself, like, dude, you can't just pick up and drop kids when you want to, or just think, oh, it's fine, they can spend half the week at their dad's house. No. And let's not pretend also that doesn't also massively affect their father, because their father then also is disadvantaged. Then it becomes one of these whole rigmaroles and these whole long decisions of things that we end up talking about the adult population and arguing about why this isn't worth it and that isn't worth it and why getting married is this and that and that and this. And who gets forgotten again? The children. Always the children are the ones who lose out. Because again, it's not better for kids to have some time at one parent's house and some time at the other's. They might be happy. Yes, you're both present, but I can tell you as a kid who grew up with having different parents around different times and whatever, that it makes a world of a difference when both of your parents are there. Because I was even realizing this about how I've turned out. Listen, for at least the good first, like maybe 7+ years of my life, I had both my parents. Actually, was it longer? Yeah, I had both.
This meeting is being recorded.
Sorry, that was just Zoom in the background. Anyways, yeah, so I grew up with both. This is what I'm saying. This is why I know it works. Because a lot of people, like, well, at the start I grew up with both, and then it was torn away from me violently. Well, not violently, but over time. And, you know, we're here now in the here and now, whatever. It's sad. And I know the value, because people don't recognize how many things about me is because I had both parents in the house at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So although it was annoying, because sometimes I'd be like, Dad, okay, what can I do such and such? Go and ask your mom. Mom, can I go such and such? Go and ask your dad. Kids of today, they don't know what it's like I did. Like my brothers don't know what it's like when your parents call you to tell you off because you're in trouble and they're both there and they're sitting in their bed and you're in trouble. Oh my gosh, I hated it. And there would be like a dialogue of like, oh, I hated it, right? But looking back, that's what needed. You know what I'm saying? That's what was helping to keep me in check in a lot of ways at the time, you know? So then when that was all lost and gone, obviously I gave my life to the Lord at 7. The Lord was like, listen. And then here we are, you know? So this is what I'm saying. If we really are serious about going against all these things, if we really, really want to do the work for the kids, we have to, as an adult population, face some things that we maybe don't want to face and do some things that we don't want to do. Okay? Whether it's being a man or a woman, our relationships as men and women, our relationships as families today, because I find families are really weird these days. Like people get really weird about stuff like the thing is that I find fascinating about society is how funny people are about money. Because see me, right? If I'm good and I can afford it, I'm looking after whoever's around me. Like, I'm not back thinking about, oh, did you pay for this and did whatever? Like, obviously within reason. Like, we have to all spend within our means. And I'm not talking about, like, sharing whatever. I'm talking about when people just, like, obsess over it's like, well, this is what I'm doing over here and that's what you're doing over there. And, like, I'll help you, but I need to, like, it's like, I'm like, you know what? Like, when are we just going to be there for people as much as they need? Like, it's even like this whole thing of kicking kids out at 18. It's like, you're an adult now, figure it out. It's like, or maybe it's more helpful for them at 18 rather than to be thrown and thrust. Like, I look back now and I'm thinking, I don't know how it was a good idea for me to move out into the city of London at 18 years of age. And I would have only been 18 for 4 months. I don't know how that was a good idea, living by myself. Not that I was kicked out, by the way, I wasn't kicked out, but I'm just saying that, like, because it's the societal norm, right? So I'm saying there's all these so-called societal norms that we have to start to debunk a little bit. Because this is how some of these things are happening. This is how so many young ladies today are getting caught up in situations, and young men, you know, facing the lonelinesses of it all and the whatever else is of it all, because they are there alone in their apartments. Everybody's got an apartment that they live in by themselves. The amount of people I know who have beautiful, lovely apartments that they live in by themselves and just lives of dysfunction is crazy. It's like we've lost the art of, like, I was thinking the other day about how beautiful it is that in, what country is it? I think it's China, that the custom is when a woman becomes pregnant, her mother-in-law immediately moves in. Now, some people are going to be quaking because obviously everybody, I don't know. So I'm saying we're a mess as the adult population. That should be good. You should love your in-laws. We should be all one big family. That should be amazing. You know what I mean? But hey, listen, I get it. I'm just saying. And the idea is to look after the mum as long as they need her there. Like, you know what I mean? It's what I'm saying again about the village. Because more than likely, as a man, as a husband, you're not going to be there to be around 24/7 with your pregnant wife. Your pregnant wife also probably doesn't want to have to be going and doing 100 different things and putting stress on her body when she's literally creating a human life. You know what I'm saying? It's the village mentality, you know? Or like in Korea, how they, for pregnant women, they make the seaweed soup. The mums always make the seaweed soup for their daughters, because the seaweed soup is supposed to help stimulate your milk, your breast milk. I love these types of things, by the way. So you guys get where I'm coming from, right? Basically what I'm just trying to say here is we need to do better. If we want to be wondering how we got to the end of over there with the likes of the Mr. Beasts, the Phillies, the Diddy's, the this, the that, the whatever, the whoever else, I can't bother to remember everybody. I'm just saying enough names for us to just know who we're talking about and what we're talking about. If we want to get to that point, then we need to start off by actually really evaluating how we got to where we are now in the first place, and like actually deal with the problem at the root cause, at the absolute root cause of how this has happened. Because in a society with loving parents who love each other, right, and who are loving and centered in the wisdom of the Lord, bring into a family where they also come from loving parents and stability. You see what I'm saying? It's all broken, and it all started when it hit me, this whole revelation about this, I was so overwhelmed because I was like, God, we have just way too much work to do at this point, because we are so far away from where we need to be. Like, in general, obviously there are pockets and places where people are doing things well, and there's not everybody, but there's a lot of people, and the overall issues is because of the fact that in society we've now accepted this lie of the kingdom of darkness, that dysfunctionality is the rarity, but actually functionality is the rarity these days. So we need to get back to that, is basically what I'm trying to say. Anyways, you guys, I'm going to leave that there. Yeah, buckle up and stay tuned. There's going to be some interesting stuff. I feel like now that I've been through the corridors of chaos and hell for the last year, I can start to, like, now I'm putting all the pieces together and now I'm getting it. I'm like, oh, I get why everything has happened in the way that it's happened and the way it's happening, because now is our time to shut up, boss up, stand up. So I'm saying, now that we're all so upset, while we're upset, great, let's be upset and let's redirect that energy, right? That's like what I say to the kids. Let's redirect our energy into something a bit more productive, right? So instead of being exposés and being upset and crying and, oh my gosh, let's redirect that same energy while we have it into, let's solve the issues. And this is what I'm saying about winning. If life's a game, let's play to win. All of these different areas of our lives are areas where we need to win. And we can win it, you know, and the Lord convicted me about that last year. Jeez, that's when it all started. You know, we're supposed to win. And in order to win, this is part of the picture is that God said, I created for societies to function like this. That was the winning strategy. The village was the winning strategy. Are we understanding? Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much for your patience with my very emotional self over the last couple of months. I've been going through hell. Okay? All so that I can come out the other end with the required oil, as it says, you know, in order to get the oil out of an olive, it has to be crushed. And in order to purify the gold, it got to be put through the fire. So, boy, have we been there to this year. But you guys, you get the gist. Anyways, buckle up and stay tuned. I'm looking forward to making more videos again, and like actually feeling like wanting to make videos again, because I really was like, there was a point where I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going back, because I don't know how I'm supposed to. Anyways, you guys, I love you so much. It is Friday, so it's going to be the Sabbath this evening. So happy Sabbath. It's also the new Jewish year, started last week. Or was it last week? Yeah, last weekend. So happy Rosh Hashanah. We're in the new, I want to call it Hebrew year. So I'm so excited about that, because, you know, when the Lord sent the Israelites out to do what he was doing. Anyway, we're not going to get into all of that right now, because we've got issues with the word, you know, that particular religion. There's just a lot of issues around what people think and what actually is, and what the different groups, and it's all a lot. It's a lot. Okay, I know it's a lot, you guys. Anyways, love you all so much, because if life's a game, let's play to win. I'm just telling you that I figured out the winning strategy. The village is the winning strategy. Oh, I'm so good at this sometimes. Okay, guys, love you, love you, love you, love you. If life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.